I think if we renamed ourselves, we would be the Benjamin Britten Singers because we have done such a large part of his repertory. But I feel a special affinity with his music. I feel like we speak his language in a very musical way, and so much of his music is less heard than it should be. So I feel like it's part of our mission to bring as much of the unheard music to the audiences of Washington, D.C.
Cantate started in 1985 under the direction of founder Phyllis Isaacson, a conductor, educator, and jazz pianist. Gathering about 40 singers with previous choral experience and aiming to tackle a diverse range of music, she established an important Washington musical organization.
Well, I came in 1994. Phyllis and her husband Lou had retired. Lou was a government worker and they retired up north. And I was brought in as an interim for one concert. With so many choirs in Washington, it's often hard to distinguish yourself. Even within yourself, you have to feel like you have something special to say. And I think as a conductor, if you don't feel like you have something special to say about a piece, you should just leave it alone. And I feel very privileged that the singers that work with me respond to my vision, because obviously it can't be a democracy when you're working with a group of people. It is a monarchy and I am the queen. So fortunately they buy into my vision, and I think that what we provide is a unique experience of maybe some of the standard pieces that people have experienced many times. For instance, we did Messiah, but we didn't just do Messiah, we did Der Messias, the Mozart orchestration. We did the Brahms Requiem, but we did the London version, which is for chorus and two pianos. So hearing old standards in a new way, I think, is something that's very unique to Cantate.
Under Giselle Becker, Cantate has been invited to sing with the Folger Consort, the National Symphony Orchestra, and many other leading area ensembles. Cantate has also mounted ambitious performances of such choral classics as Bach's Mass in B minor, Haydn's The Creation, and Handel's Brauch's Passion, a neglected masterpiece which the group presented in its Capital Region concert premiere. Over time, Cantate has also made a strong and growing commitment to new music.
I think that our focus changed since I started. I tried to start with more the kind of repertoire that they were used to doing, which, as I said, was everything from early music all the way to jazz standards and show music, which is one area I didn't touch. I don't feel like I do it well, so I leave it to those that do. But I think as I've continued my tenure here at Cantate, that we've definitely focused more on 20th and 21st century music. Cantate, considering the size of the organization, the lack of paid staff, the size of the budget, has amazing offshoots programs that other groups of our size probably wouldn't dare to do. And those would be the Young Composer Contest and the Composer in Residence programs. Those are things that one would naturally assume would belong to organizations with million-dollar budgets, which Cantate certainly is not.
Keyboard artist Gary Davison became Cantate's first composer in residence. Next, Maurice Saylor began the first of 2 terms as Cantate's composer in residence. Andrew Simpson is the current keyboard artist and composer in residence.
Cantate is very much committed to commissioning and performing works of contemporary composers. They have had the Composer in Residence program, through which I've benefited and Maurice Taylor has benefited, in which they commission and perform new works.
And I was really thrilled when she asked if I would come and be the second composer in residence for Cantate. And for that residency I wrote my magnum opus, The Hunting of the Snark and Agony in 8 Fits. And I think everyone had a good time with that, though it was difficult for sure. That the Snarkestra is a collection of instruments reviled by society at large and rejected by people of good taste and common sense.
Also, they have a Young Composers Contest, and so this is, once again, one of those valuable opportunities to encourage young composers to write for chorus and to have the works performed by Cantate.
Since 1996, there have been 8 winners of the Young Composers Contest. Among them, Andrew Foreman in 1998, Matthew Arndt in 2000, and Judah Adachi in 2003. In 2010, all 3 returned for a re-performance of their original works in a special program.
It's an amazing program in that, looking back, which we are doing in March, we are actually going to re-perform 3 of the pieces that won the contest, and having the now not so young composers come back to attend that concert to see where they've come from when we met them as early as 18 years old. I think our first one was actually in high school. They were all university students, and now to see so many of them in faculty positions at universities as composers and as professors, it's really quite amazing. Not that we developed that, but we certainly had a part in it, so I feel very proud of that.
I think many organizations, choral, orchestral, chamber, whatever, would be quite proud in having any one of those components, but to have all 3 of those and the additional component of additional performances of the works, the major works commissioned, is really quite remarkable, and I know we're all quite thankful for that.
Cantate is a place that is musically fulfilling, and when I leave home and I take the long commute and then I step in that room, it's like a totally different place, and it's not an escape, but it's another word for escape, but into something.
I think a good chamber choir is very much like a good string quartet in that everyone is equal, and at the same time we as individuals can contribute to something which is greater than the sum of its individual parts.
And when you have something like that, transcendent, that you're sharing with other people, that's very, very special, and it's something that there's no other experience that translates the way sharing something so transcendent with others does.
I think in this day and age where everything is so individualized, where we spend so much time by ourselves with our computers, plugged into iPods, that we don't have a sense of community that perhaps used to exist. And I think that that's one of the things that choral music can really bring about.